All right, next, let's look at downward pressure. Do you remember the lecture I gave you all on the first morning? What you're learning now is breathing. Be sure not to think of breathing as simply inhaling and exhaling. It's not. You should treat it as a process of pressure regulation. Remember, if we're supporting with the right leg, the pressure is on the right side, and the air pressure in the right lung is higher. Even though the right diaphragm is stronger, it's still difficult to fill the right lung well, isn't it? So you can understand it this way. If the ribs are flared outward, it means that the air pressure in the lung area inside the flared part is low because it's always open. Does that make sense? So the more the ribs flare outward, the easier it is for the area to fill with air. Is that easy to understand? So if someone has flared ribs, what does that usually indicate? It often means that the person's leg that is turned outward cannot support itself and cannot bear weight. If you can bear weight, you press down like this. For example, look, when my right leg is supporting me, my right shoulder drops. When my left leg is supporting me, my left shoulder drops. This way, you press down. So what about people with flared ribs? When my right leg is supporting me, my right shoulder drops. But when my left leg is supporting me, my right shoulder still drops. Do you understand what I mean? They can't press down here. So a normal person will be like this. A normal person is like this. But people with flared ribs are often like this. Can you see the difference? They just can't shift their center of gravity over. Right? They're always locked in that position. So if you're stuck in that position and one side has support while the other doesn't, this is how you walk. Listen. It's always thump, thump, thump. One side is loud, the other side is quiet. So for people like this, just by listening to the sound, you can tell that only one side of their lungs can inflate. That's why when it comes to the 4 diagnostic methods in Chinese medicine, looking, listening, smelling, asking, and feeling the pulsions, you understand these principles, that's all you need. As soon as this person walks by, I can tell they have unilateral lower back pain or neck pain because they're only bearing weight on one side. The knee, lower back, and neck on that side are all more likely to have problems. So for people like this, having them practice pulling in their ribs on the upper body is useless. It's meaningless. It doesn't really matter because they can't provide support. There's no way for them to create pressure on that side. As long as that side is lifted, as long as they can't pull it in, as long as they can't shift their weight over, the lung on the opposite side simply can't fill with air. You can think of it this way. If my right leg has been supporting my weight on the right side for a long time, it's easier for my left lung to fill with air. But if my left side can also bear weight, then my right lung can fill with air. If my left leg can bear weight, then my right lung simply can't fill with air. Even if your diaphragm is extremely strong, you still won't be able to get air in. Do you understand? All right, so what exactly does this downward pressure refer to? Let me tell you. Downward pressure refers to the degree of contact between the diaphragm and the inside of the ribs. When you press down like this on this side, my right diaphragm is in contact with the ribs, so I can hold it in place and it can function better. But if this side is flipped out, my ribs stick out and my diaphragm can't stay in close contact, so my breathing function will get worse and worse. Then my diaphragm turns into a stabilizing muscle, a supporting muscle, instead of a muscle for inhalation. So what is the normal degree of contact for the diaphragm? It's about 40% contact with the ribs. So for most of us, the diaphragm can attach on the right side, but not on the left. Therefore, if we simply look at the diaphragm's contact with the ribs, the right side has better breathing function because the left side can't stay attached. However, since the pressure is on the right side, air can't get into the right lung, so it can only fill the left side. That's the relationship. So when we practice prone pressure breathing, you can think of it as helping the diaphragm attach more firmly to the back of the ribs. This way, it creates downward pressure and provides strong support.